Yo, what up, my good people in the YouTube world? You already know who it is. You already know what it is. It's your boy B, and I'm right back, about you cats, with another video. Welcome back to the Outlier Experience. Yes, sir. And I've been going for what? Damn, last time I came up here live was on Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days. Did y'all miss me, man? Did y'all miss me? Well, even if y'all didn't miss me, I missed y'all. I definitely missed y'all. And we are live straight from Freeport, New York, Long Island, in the building. You already know what it is, my people. We got one person on the check-in. They hit that like button. Thank you very, very, very much. You know, it's your boy B. We got a lot to talk about today, a lot to speak about today. And again, I've been going, you know. I told you cats last week that I had a surprise for you, but I went to where I was supposed to go, but I didn't do any live streams because in life, sometimes it's just better to experience it, you know? And I let that one go, but in the future, we're gonna be on it, and I'm going to take you guys with me. But y'all know me, I got to keep the integrity of the show going. We talk about that 10% improvement from day to day. So we talk about health, then we speak about work, then we speak about personal growth and everything in between, my people, them. Yes, sir. So, health. How did health go? My drinking been very, very, very much under control, my people. A little drink here, a little drink there, but nothing very, very, very strong. There's no residue, no hangovers, none of that stuff. My appetite has not been affected. My appetite has been up, which is good for the pancreatitis. And now we talk about that 5 meals a day, 5 small meals a day. I'm getting there, people, getting there. Like, you know, it's been 3, 4 meals every day. The weight has been steadily increasing, my people. When I first came on here, I was about 142, 143. And I told you cats, I want to get to about 160, 162, 168 with no clothes on. Yesterday, I weighed myself with my clothes on. I was about 154. So with my clothes off, I'm about 148, 149. And we getting there, my people, we getting there. Next, I got a gym membership, man. You know, I definitely have a gym membership at LA Fitness. I haven't used it in the longest. So these coming months, man, that's what we getting into, son. We're going to get into that LA Fitness, and we're going to start building some muscle upon this little frame of mine, man. We're going to start building some muscle upon this frame of mine. And I see we got 22 people in the check-in, man. Hit that like button if this is what you like, man. And what type of content do I produce? I produce me walking to work, just living life out here in New York. We speak about daily problems. We speak about daily solutions. And we just talk about life, man. And if this is the type of thing you like, man, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, man. Drop a comment. Let me know where you coming from, what you doing this early in the morning. It is 4:36 out here in New York. What time is it? And what city are you coming from? We got Big Mont in the check-in. He said gaining that much weight at your age might not be what you think. Last time you were that big, you were in your 20s, right? That is correct, Big Mont. I was in my 20s when I was about 168, 170, around there. You know, definitely. You know, definitely. I do want to get up to that. You know what I mean? I feel like I am skinny. I do want to gain some weight, my people, but healthy weight. Healthy weight, you know, healthy weight. So, yeah. So, the health is definitely going good. The next thing we speak about is work. And again, man, when y'all came on, when I first came on, it was heavy into a bunch of things, man. And work was thick. And work is still thick, you know? But again, I decided to take a step away from work, man. You know, I give it my all when I'm there. But outside of work, man, they ain't getting as much as they was getting before. I already know that these are just cycles because I've gone through these cycles before. But what I noticed is that a lot of times, man, it's hard to sprint, you know? And that sprint work that I was doing for like 2, 3 months was just nothing but sprinting. You know what I mean? Pedal to the metal all day. But you can't do that all the time, my people. It definitely catches up to you, you know? And this is the time where I sit back and just relax. Sit back and relax, you know? Now, let's get back into the personal growth. Somebody came on and said, what you doing at the Pyramid of Giza? I ain't over there, man. I ain't over there. I do want to go to Egypt. I definitely want to go visit Egypt, catch those pyramids, you know, catch those pyramids. It's one of the things I want to see in the real world, but I haven't gone yet, man. I actually knew somebody who got their camera stolen out there in Giza. This dude was over there by the pyramids, right? And he gave one of the cats over there his camera to take a picture of him. Man, homie, skeeted off on him. He acted like he was taking the picture, took the camera and bounced on him, son. That's crazy. Somebody said you just strolled past the pyramid. I did. I ain't see it, man. I ain't see it. Maybe tomorrow we catch it. Maybe tomorrow we catch it. You know? So the surprise I had for y'all that I was telling you guys about is that I took a trip to Beantown, to Boston, man. I took a weekend trip to Boston. I bounced on Friday, stayed on Saturday, and came back on Sunday. This was gonna be part of my expansion because you guys see me walking around over here. Where's this at? This is Freeport, Long Island, my boy. Somebody said, who is this? Salen Raymond. What up? Yeah, so I told myself I was gonna get away and do something a little bit different. Since you guys see me coming up here every single morning, you know what I mean? See me coming up here every morning, going to work, talking craziness to y'all. I was gonna show y'all a little bit of fun, man, you know? And while I was doing it, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy this, man. Because everything ain't for YouTube, everything not for Instagram, everything is not for public consumption. And this was a trip that I was just like, man, I'm gonna relax, yo. Somebody on the check-in said, why is there so snow on the footpath but everywhere else? Why is there no snow on the footpath but everywhere else? Yeah, it's traffic, man. It's traffic. So it snowed out here. I think it was on Sunday when I came back. It snowed. So usually what happens is you're gonna see no snow on the places where a lot of people walk. So like on the sidewalk, people also, they put out the snow to melt it. I mean, they put out the salts and everything to melt it. You got people who drive on these roads with the snow so it melts it. But in the grass and places where squirrels, you might see birds and stuff like that, usually it tends to stay longer. But as you see, on these footpaths, it's a lot of ice, kid, and this is dangerous. Somebody could fall on this ice, yo, and bust their ass, you know? What they say? They may be having, they may have heating pads installed under the footpaths. True, true, true. Like sci-fi-esque. Yeah, they do got a lot of sci-fi stuff, you know what I mean? I was watching somewhere with the electric cars. I forget in which country it was, but they have the roads that actually, what's the name, give juice to those electric cars, man. That stuff is cool. My boy Big Mont said people shovel the walkway so they don't get sued by pedestrians. By pedestrians fall. When pedestrians fall by their property, that is correct. You can't be sued if you don't come out here and shovel your snow. You dig? Somebody fall, it could be a wrap for you, man. You know, somebody sued my grandmother like that. You know, they ain't get no money, but they sued my grandmother. You know, but yeah. So I went to Boston, and I wish, I don't wish that I had a camera or footage of it. I could tell you guys how I felt about Boston, man. You know, I've been to Boston before. I've been to Cambridge a couple of times, but this was the first trip that I took on my own where I said, man, I'm gonna schedule everything and do everything on my own. And it was a very, very, very good experience, man. Boston is a great city, yo. Boston is a great city. How many people went to Boston? How many of y'all been to Boston before? You know? Nobody checking in, but yeah, Boston was cool, yo. Like, I don't want to compare it to New York, but I have to, unfortunately, And this is not a better or worse thing. It's just different. The first thing I noticed about Boston is that there isn't as many people as New York. I think I looked at the census. They said it was less than 1 million people who live in Boston. Less than 1 million people. And I compare that to like Nassau County. And Nassau County got a little bit over 1 million people, So just in population-wise, it's about similar. Meanwhile, New York got like maybe close to, 9 million people? 6, 7 million people? unofficially like 11 million people, you know. So in New York, you get a bunch of crowdedness, but in Boston, it's not as crowded, yo. It's definitely not as crowded. So you have a space to move around. Also, Boston has a charm. Boston is very charming, man. It's charming. You have your downtown area where you see a bunch of skyscrapers and things like that. But at the same time, it's still intimate, you know? So I went to different areas out there. I went to like the part where the seaport is, where you have a whole bunch of water. That was very nice. I also went to a small little area where they had like a mall. It was a nice mall, a luxury mall, and there was a bunch of shops. But the shops out there, oh shit, I almost fell, you see? Look at that, almost fell. But yeah, it was so quaint out there, I should say. Because, there was another area where I went to eat, and I forgot the name of it. Forgot the name of the place, but it's like the stores are all brownstones, it seemed like. So when you're walking, there's not like storefronts that you'll see in other major cities. They're real brownstones, yo. And you're walking down there and, you'll look at a storefront and it look like somebody's home, like you're walking in Brooklyn or something. And it gives you a real crazy experience where it's like you're in a big city, but at the same time, you still feel like a small neighborhood. And that was just that section of Boston. It was real nice. So I'm walking down the block. There's a bunch of people out. The people are nice out there. They will give you compliments. Like, they'll say they like your hair, they like your shoes. And in New York, this is completely different, yo. It ain't like that. Somebody said, did you do the boat / busting? Nah, I ain't do the boat or busting. It was kind of too cold for the boat. I ain't do no bus tour. It wasn't, I ain't think I had enough time. But that's another essence over there, man. 1 day or 2 days is definitely not enough to experience a place like Boston. I went to the Sea Grill, the Wolf. It was like a nice hotel, man. And they had a great steak that I had. Had me some steak and some red wine. Beautiful, man. And it was right in front of the water. So you'll sit there, eat your nice food, man. You look out the window, you see the seaport, beautiful water, yachts, all different types of stuff, man. And it's so quaint and it's like real cool, man. You know what I mean? Somebody said low quality sidewalk. Low quality sidewalk. I guess you look at them cracks. You look at everything. I guess you can say it's low quality, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, Boston was cool, man. Boston was real cool. So, I went to that area. It was very nice. The one thing I did notice about Boston is that you'll be on the streets like this. You'll be walking on the streets and it seemed like it's shallow, like not a lot. But then you'll turn a corner and then that's where you'll start seeing the seaport. So the hotel, right? It was like a beautiful archway to the hotel. And you make a right and then it just opens up and it just seems so scenic because you see the water, you see like the huge arcs from the buildings, and it's like an old time charm, man, a real old time charm. The hotel I stayed at was over there by Fenway Park. And y'all know I grew up wanting to be a baseball player. So the Green Monster for me, that's one of them places I always wanted to play at, the Green Monster. I always wanted to hit a home run at the Green Monster, Definitely wanted to go there. And I ain't seen no game, of course, because it ain't baseball season. But at the same time, you walk around that area and it's a bunch of bars that people go to at night that spills over into the streets. You also got like the Hard Rock Cafe over there where I'm sure during game nights it could definitely get lively. It was a cool experience, man. I really like Boston. And I got to go out there again, man, because there's so much more I wanted to see. They have museums out there. Somebody on the check-in, they said, watch out, them UFOs be abducting. Somebody talking about UFOs. Man, I want to see a UFO, honestly. I definitely want to see a UFO, But I don't want it to just be any unidentified flying object. I want it to really be some damn aliens, man. You know what I mean? I want it to be the real deal. I do want to see some aliens, yo. But I don't know how I would react seeing the alien. Because when you think about it, you know, like what would their intentions be? What would their intentions be? And I think that that's the scary part. You know, they most likely aren't from ape-like species like us. So their minds could be wired differently than ours. They may think different things than us. And then considering the fact that wherever they from, let's say they from a distant galaxy, their technology got to be greater than ours, you know? And with that type of technology, it comes power. And I think about that, you know what I mean? Like, how would they look at humans? You know, how would they look at humans? Want to hear a joke? Somebody said, do I want to hear a joke? Read my past comment. All right, low Q20 said, watch out, bro. Watch out. Yeah, watch out for the UFOs. I do got to watch out for them. You're right. Somebody said getting greetings from New Zealand. Of course, I want to hear a joke. And somebody from New Zealand is on the check-in. What's up? What y'all doing in New Zealand? New Zealand. Place I never been. Not too many people call in or check in from New Zealand. But how you doing out there in New Zealand? Yeah. So yeah, Boston was cool, man. Boston was definitely cool. I had a great trip. And, you know, in the future, I am going to bring you cats along with me, man. You know, this one, I left my I ain't leave my camera at home, but I ain't bring it with me. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't bring it out on those things. But next time I am, man, you know, I think my next trip probably going to be Philly because we're going to hit up all the East Coast cities, man, first. You know, so we talking Philly, we talking Baltimore, we talking Washington, D.C. I'm going to hit up Maine, Portland, like all them type of areas, man. I'm going to Connecticut. We're going to hit up my sister city out there in Jersey. We're going to hit up some spots in Jersey. You know, again, I said Philly, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Wilmington, Delaware. Like all those type of places, man. I'm going to be up and down. Because, you know, with Airbnb, it's not even that expensive, man. You spend $200-$300 for, you know, 2 nights. You bring you a couple hundred for some nice meals. And you walk around the cities, man. You walk around the cities. Somebody on the check-in said they be conducting experiments and like operations on them abducted. They be examining their organs and stuff. Somebody said, when you do Atlantic City, let me know. Big Mont, you already know. I'm definitely gonna hit you up when Atlantic City. That's what, you know, I love Atlantic City. So we're gonna transition. You know, I love when the chat come in and start speaking about alien abductions and things like that. Y'all know how my mind work, man. You know? So let's talk about aliens, yo. Let's talk about aliens. Do y'all believe in them? Do y'all believe that there is life in the universe outside of Earth? I do. I most definitely do. Do I think that they ever visited the Earth? I don't know, son. Because Earth's history is vast. I'm sure that their history is vast too. So I don't know, kid. I really don't know. Have I seen credible, you know, reports and things like that? Nah. I don't think I ever seen no credible reports of any. I don't think that, you know, maybe they do have pictures, but that's just above out my clearance level.